Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Will Wright. We're delighted to have you join one of our virtual breakfast receptions. As many of you know, we used to do these in real life, and for the immediate future, we'll be doing these as virtual series. This year, we decided to bring together all of the organizations that interact with the architecture, engineering, and construction world. So you can anticipate about 24 of these this year. We've already had a few, and we'll have several more posted. So I'll be inviting each and every one of you to more of those. Right now, I want to take a moment to thank SOMAS. They are our presenting sponsor, and we're delighted to have the support of SOMAS. Without SOMAS, we wouldn't be able to offer this series for free. And so that's something that I just want to make sure everybody recognizes, that it's our sponsors that really help AIA underwrite all of our expenses and our operations. This morning, I am delighted to welcome the leadership of the Associated General Contractors of California. We have Erin Volk and Ryan Aukerman on the call. I'm going to let both of them do some self-introductions. We'll have about a 25-minute presentation about what their organization is doing, and then I encourage an interactive Q&A with all of you in the audience today. So with that, Erin Volk and Ryan Aukerman, welcome.
Thank you so much. Ryan, do you want to start out with your intro?
No, please do, Erin.
All right. I'm Erin Volk, Vice President of Workforce and Community Development with AGC of California, Associated General Contractors of California. And I'm also the Executive Director of our Construction Education Foundation, which is a 501c3 that we operate all of our workforce development programs through as just a vehicle to reach other funding sources. We have some echoing there, sorry. And so I've been with the association 10 years, and under my leadership, all of the workforce development programs across the state operate on a daily basis. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ryan for his intro.
Thank you. Well, again, great to see everyone this morning, and really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all this morning. My name is Ryan Aukerman. I'm the Executive Vice President for Griffith Company. We're a heavy civil, all things heavy civil construction company, established in 1902. I think we're one of the fifth oldest general contractors in California. I'm still operating under our original license. We're very passionate. We're very we interact. We actually were one of the founding members of the Associated General Contractors of California, so that's it's near and dear to our heart to support the organization and support the industry. But we also, as a company, we're an employee-owned company. We became 100% employee-owned in 2002, and so that really we're one of the many ESOP construction companies in California. But I've been with the company almost 18 years, and I also serve as the chair of the Los Angeles District Board for AGC. I'm also state board of directors, so I do spend a lot of time with AGC. And as a company, we'll get into in our presentation. We are very heavily invested in all the things that AGC is trying to accomplish for the industry. And thanks again for having me.
Okay, and Ryan's being very humble. He spends, I think, at least part-time with AGC, and we appreciate it. And I see a couple of other of our all-star volunteers on the line today. So just a shout out and a thank you to Dr. G and Chris Jones and Anita Young. Sorry if I missed anybody, but that's who I've seen so far. We exist, AGC exists because of our membership. And on behalf of our membership is why we work every day to implement programs like the ones that we'll talk about today. It's an honor really to be able to present with Ryan and talk about our collaborative efforts across the workforce development and diversity and inclusion space and all of those things. So to get started, just to give you an overview for those of you that are not familiar with AGC or our workforce programs, here on the screen you can see a list of all the things that we do, and this is just specific to workforce development. AGC of California also has a full government affairs team. We work in labor relations. We do a lot of things on behalf of the industry and our members every day, but focusing in on the workforce development component, which Ryan and I prepared some discussion for today. We do have we touch K through 12, also college level students, all the way through the current industry. So something our CEO likes to say a lot, which I don't allow on t-shirts, which he wants. We're really trying to support the industry professional from cradle to grave, right? Not something, again, we like to say out loud, but it's a good way to get the perspective of that full pipeline, right? We're trying to cover the full pipeline at the point where a student finds our industry and they're interested in ACE, all the way through the point where they become part of our industry. They're working for, hopefully, an AGC member company. How does AGC continue to support their journey? So for the sake of time today, Brian and I are going to focus in on two of these programs that I see as most applicable to this group, but also have the most potential for cross-pollination and potential partnership in the future. So I'll invite you all to listen with that in mind, because I think there are some great things that we could do in terms of AGC and AIA to continue our efforts in the workforce development space and really cultivating and activating that next generation. So with that, turning into our what we like to call our keystone, our pinnacle program right now, the Build California program. So this program was really, it was brought to life in September of 2019, and it was really intended to be the activation point, how we reach youth 12 to 24. So how do we engage them? How do we inspire and invite them into our industry and do that differently than what we've done in the past? So again, I've been with the association 10 years. And when I came on board, one of the first things I did was take a look at all the marketing materials that had been used to outreach to youth in California for the prior 10 years. And what struck me is that we were doing a lot of targeting of students and a potential outreach to students around using images that were either stock photos that represented, old white folks pointing at, the sky or looking at, blueprints, but not really showing the industry and what we do every day in a way that Gen Z specifically, and back then millennials, could relate to. We weren't actually showcasing the industry in a way that would attract the next gen. I tell our contractors all the time when we were starting this program, we have done an excellent job of marketing construction careers to ourselves, right? So really, how do we get to the youth and make them want to be part of the industry as much as we want to, because we know how great it is. And we also know that parents and teachers are a barrier. They're a barrier only because they have lack of information about our industry and the careers that we promote. So with Build California, we knew we also had to get to that target audience. So Build was really born with this idea that we have to take back our narrative for the construction careers. We have to show masses what construction careers are really like, and to do that in a cool way where our target audience could really relate. So I'm going to go through a bit more around generational differences and why that was super important in the way that we developed Build. But I have a fun fact, a quiz. I'm going to put Ryan on the spot here. So Ryan, how old is the youngest millennial?
I want to say it's probably somewhere around 25 to 27.
Correct. So most people don't know that. And I'll get a lot of blank stares when I ask the question, because when we're talking about construction careers with our contractors, a lot of times I hear, Erin, if you could just get those millennials to understand. And y'all, millennials, the youngest one, as Ryan said, is 25 to 27. The old are in their late 30s. That means millennials, they're now our parents. They're our teachers. We've missed an entire generation in terms of trying to capture and really instill our career paths into that generation. So when we're thinking about who we need to reach and how, it's really about Generation Z and Generation Alpha coming behind them. So how do we do that? Our vision really around this program is that we need to create that steady pipeline. And one piece around Build that's a bit different than some of the other workforce campaigns you'll see out there is that we're not just focused on skilled trades. Skilled trades is incredibly important, and we need to continue to push there and demystify and destigmify the skilled trades. Absolutely. But we also want to demystify the career path towards construction management, right? Because the operation side is just as important to what we do every day. And most students find themselves coming into that pipeline very late. They don't find construction until their 20s. Ryan, I think you're a great example of that.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I'm really so passionate about this effort is even when I was a young professional, going into high school, going into college, I was never exposed to a career in construction. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't have any family members in construction. So I really didn't get exposed to it until I was probably in my late 20s. I was actually going to school for accounting, for business. And then I was exposed to construction. I just thought, what a better fit for my skill set and my personality. But I would have loved to have been exposed in junior high, high school, and really set myself up at an earlier age. So I think it's, I think it's a really important effort, and something that we really should have probably started 10, 15 years ago, but better late than never. better late than never. So, but this effort takes a long time in the making to get people in the pipeline and get them trained up and get them into the workforce. So, but I think it's spot on with the target audience.
And for years, what AGC and many companies were doing, we're investing in these one and done tactics, right? So career fairs, for example, we love career fairs. We still support them. That's an activation point of Build California. However, what we were doing in the past is investing $50, $60, $100, $150,000 a year and having 2 to 3 or 4 career fairs across the state. That's it. Maybe reaching 10,000 students. They come in for a day, which is awesome. They get to see the trades, they get to see the equipment, they make connections. You see light bulbs go off. They're like, yes, I want to do construction. But then what happens? They go home, they go back to their ecosystem, they go back to the teachers who tell them construction is not for them, or that they won't make a living that can support themselves. They'll hear from their parents, nope, you're going to college, right? So we knew that we needed a vehicle to get to them 24/7. And let's be honest, they're online 24/7. So one of the big tactics we use through Build California is how do we reach them where they are? So you'll see a very strong social and digital presence that we'll go through, because again, we have to reach them, in the spaces that they're most comfortable. And again, Generation Z, they are digital natives. They don't know life without a phone in their hand. More specifically, they've never known life without a smartphone. I think those of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s appreciate not having that in in our life, no videos or pictures to be afraid of on the internet, but that's where they live, and that's where we're aiming. So goals of the program really around shaping the positive perceptions. We won't get any farther than we have already unless we make a major shift in how people perceive our industry, and Build's a big part of that moving forward. And then of course, we want to increase the number of skilled workforce. And also another high level goal for this program is we need to increase the career information that's going into all communities, specifically disadvantaged communities, because we know that construction careers are a vehicle for economic advancement for folks that just don't know about what we offer or how to access our careers. I personally grew up in Stockton, California, which if you've heard anything about, definitely I think about all my classmates that if there had been this type of information available to them, lives and families and outlooks would have changed dramatically. And that for me is what continues to drive forward our efforts here on this program. So overall, this is a comprehensive workforce development with that idea of inspiring, engaging the next generation, what we're really focused on. So how we do that, we really focus on this formula here: authentic, informative, and cool. And why we do that is because we know that these things are important to Gen Z. We did a ton of focus groups and testing throughout the process to make sure that anything we're putting out is Gen Z facing. And so along the way, I would get feedback from contractors and our board members or our labor union partners, like, are you sure? is that gonna go well? Can we say that? Should we say that? And in reality is this generation has been marketed to their whole life. Think of the push ads you get on every type of social media, right? We only have a few seconds to activate them. Actually, Ryan, you are surviving like 5 or 6, I lose track, Generation Z individuals at home, right? What is their average attention span?
Oh, I mean, it ranges, but yeah, I mean, the average attention span is probably 5 seconds to a minute,
5 seconds, that big span, but you're right on. Average attention span of a Gen Z is 5 to 8 seconds. You have 5 to 8 seconds to capture their attention or they're done with you. So, and they've moved on, right? Same thing with millennials. Millennials had 12 seconds. So we've definitely decreased in that level. But so with everything with Build California, it's intended to engage that initial 5 seconds. So they give us an opportunity to continue to feed them information over time. This is not a one and done game. It's leading kids from awareness to action over time. So when you see the images, what we'll show you in the videos, they're very intentional to ensure that they feel authentic as well. It's very important to us that you never see a stock photo on Build California social media channels or on website. They were all taken on job sites across California, including Griffiths, a couple of Griffiths jobs, which I'll let Ryan talk about after I show you this video. And it was done in a way that is cool to Gen Z, not cool to me, not cool to you, because I'm sorry, but we are old. That is what I was told through this process. It was very painful for me to learn. But if you have a Facebook page, for example, you are not cool. So we had to make sure that, again, all of these tactics are really aimed towards the generation we're trying to reach. So here's an introduction to our brand.
All across the Golden State, men and women, on job sites, in offices, and in training programs, are working to build California's future. But our impact is far greater than just the work we do. It's about building a better tomorrow. Join us in taking California to new heights, paving the way for generations to come. Because apprentices, journey people, labor unions, educators, innovators, associations, veterans, students. We build California.
All right. So you can see from that video, again, it's about the authentic view of the industry and making sure that we're resonating with students. That's a 60-second version. We have a 15 and a 30-second also, because again, attention spans. And we also filmed trade specific videos. So one of the ones that we filmed was for operating engineers, and that was filmed almost entirely at one of Griffith's projects at Pier E. This image was also taken there. Ryan, I'll turn over to you to talk about that job and the experience shooting for Build.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that project, it was a $152 million project in the Port of Long Beach. It's the third phase of the Middle Harbor to finish that piece of their automated terminal. So a pretty exciting project for us, and something that we really love showcasing and inviting people to come out and look at. But yeah, it's nice to have the exposure on our job sites, and again, to give an outlet for Build California. And I think going back to the group that we're trying to engage and expose to construction, I think it's really important that they hear from those that are in it for, real life experiences from people that really are not that far out of their shoes, that are, I don't know that they want to hear, even when we go out to job fairs, I don't know that they want to hear from someone that's been doing this 20 years. They might want to hear from someone that's been doing this 3 or 4 years, that's fresh into it. They can walk them down the path that they took. So I just think it's a really good connection point for the approach that Build California is taking for that reason. So we find that in our internship programs and our job fair approach as well, that they want to hear from those that are not far ahead of them, not the ones that have been in it for a long time.
And again, how cool is it? We can then apply the Build filter to any picture of any project of our membership and push it out through our social media and invite students in, right? I mean, they may not be able to get to the job site, and especially right now with all of our COVID fun, but they can experience it in the way that we want them to. A lot of other different campaigns you'll see will push out very stylized pictures, images to invite students in that are not at all based on the project site, are really showcasing the cool things that we actually do in construction. And the right student is going to resonate with what they're seeing, like in this image here. They're going to want to be part of it. And that's what we're really looking to try and cultivate. So moving into the materials, we have a website, of course, which we invite you all to participate in. When you go to the website, you can explore any trade. You can also look up wages by region for those different trades. And then ultimately what students can do is search the different apprenticeship and universities in their area. So we also, again, feature the project management, the estimator, and the professional and degree paths as well. So ultimately what we want to do here is the students come to the website and they're entering their information, their email. We're able to then communicate with them over a long term. Because again, they may find us when they're 13 or they're 14, and our job is to cultivate and continue to activate them all the way to the point where they graduate, so that we can get them right into apprenticeship program or a university in a CM or CE. We'll work on architecture. We'll make sure they get some attention there too. But that's really our primary goal. So we can come back and report back to folks like Ryan, who asked me the fun question, So I gave you $5,000 last year. How many butts did you put in seats and how many boots are on the ground? And in the past, honestly, when we do these activations where it's one-time events where kids are coming through and that's our only exposure to them, there's really no way to track that return on investment by the industry or individual companies. So over time, we're working through a data system that will be able to, for us to be able to report that back with real measures, which is important. Social media has been our primary vehicle, especially this year. Again, we launched in 2019 with a lot of great plans for how we were going to activate and implement on campuses with students. And unfortunately, as of March, that completely went away. So we were able to get about 25 in-person events in before that clock ran out on us, but the rest of them have been online. So either virtual classroom presentations, virtual events like design build competitions, or ACE Mentor. We did a camp with them in December online. But we also do a lot on Instagram Live. So I would encourage you to follow our Instagram feed if you can. Like example, in November, we did a cover with the Southwest Carpenters. We had 2 young carpenters who went out on the job site. They started their day at 4 a.m. and kids just followed them through their day. Like, here's what I do. Here's what I love about my job. And what was so great is at the end of the day, like 9 p.m., they're wrapping up and one of them got on there and was talking through, how carpentry has changed his life and his lifestyle. And oh, by the way, here's his dad, who's also a carpenter. And it was just another level to that engagement. Kids can ask questions live there too as well. But what you see here is we address the right audience with the right social media feed. So we also have Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, but those are obviously aimed at different audiences. TikTok is a big thing right now, right? So we usually push TikTok videos through our Instagram Live as well. And what we've noticed is 700% increase in engagement when we use TikTok videos. So just a fun fact, if you're looking to reach Gen Z, TikTok right now is apparently the best thing that you can possibly do. We also have materials, trade cards, for both the trades and the management side. Just a point here for a diversity and inclusion standpoint, we were very intentional in terms of how we showcased and who we showcased on all of our materials, videos, and whatnot, to make sure that the reflection of California was really included. We want to attract in the population of California. People need to see themselves in our industry to be able to be able to move forward and to know that they have a home or a place with us. So for each trade card or a management card, you'll see a female or male or gender neutral representation. And of course, there's ethnic diversity across the board. We also have career handouts and different maps and things that students can take at job fairs and that teachers can use in the classroom. Again, that's been a little on hold given COVID, but we also have all electronic resources like this that teachers can download on our educator portal and print for the classroom as well. So one of the big things we had in mind when we created Build California, is you can see and hear when we say Build California, you don't hear AGC. AGC is not important to students, but bigger than that, we wanted a rally cry or something that the full industry could really get behind and promote. So with this type of material being branded Build California, our vision was a company like Griffith could take these materials and use them at a student job fair for outreach, or just to fill in the gaps of the information about what is a construction career and how do you get there. Then their focus of resources can really be around how do I create job fair materials that are, hey, come work at Griffith, right? So Ryan, I'm not sure if you guys had any experience with our materials pre-COVID, but anything you want to add to that for your experience?
Yeah, I just think, no, you hit a spot on, Erin. I mean, we're not a huge company. We don't have a huge production staff in our company to generate these materials, nor do the data it takes to really get all the statistics that we need to help, sell the industry. But, I remember going to a job fair, probably 15, 16 years ago. And like you said, Erin, it was a bunch of students showed up. We had very little material to share with them. The material we did have was dated. It didn't have a lot of information. We had a couple pieces of equipment show up and it was really lackluster. But I think now the approach with the marketing material that's put together, we utilize it when we do go to job fairs. We utilize this material, and then, Ron Roberts, who heads up our recruiting, does a great job of supplementing this information with more Griffith company specific information. So it really saves him a lot of time in focusing on what's really important for us and supplementing the information that's provided. But yeah, having this information is key, and having it short and concise to where they can get the information that they need from it quickly is really important. So yeah, we utilize it quite often.
The other fun fact, Gen Z, you need candy at your table, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason they come over, really. And then
I
we
love
hook
giveaways,
them.
yes.
Then we hook them with the materials. But again, this has been an evolution. I mean, when I first started AGC, I proudly pumped out a 5-page glossy brochure, right, that we had created ourselves. And it was heartbroken when kids would just throw them on the ground and walk away after they got my candy. And so really now what we're seeing is students really engage with these materials in a way that I've never experienced, because we built them with Gen Z in mind through focus groups and that effort. So that really does, again, increase that ROI and value on the investment. So student events, this is what it looks like when we're in the real world, y'all. It's exciting, and I hope we get back there soon. But again, we got about 20 to 25 in-person events with students, sometimes in partnership with other organizations. ACE Mentor, again, is a huge partner of ours. So I believe at least one of these, that one in the middle, down bottom row in the middle, I think was the LAOC ACE Mentor Trades Day in 2020 or 19. So this is the type of work that we like to do in the community and we want to get back to. But in the interim, we'll be online. You can find us online. And we also do classroom presentations on demand. So just the big wins for Build California this year. We did receive AGC of America's Chapter Workforce Development Award for the best workforce development campaign program in the United States. So we're pretty proud of that. And we've also been able to reach just over 4.6 million Californians with this campaign this last year, with 4,000 students reached. And then we had 30 events at the end of last year and nearly 70 virtual events total. 45 ambassadors, to Ryan's point earlier, they don't want to hear from me anymore. I'm old, which is really sad. But what they want to hear from, who they want to hear from, are the younger folks working across the construction industry who are just a few years ahead of them, who they can relate to. So we are recruiting ambassadors from our member companies like Griffith. I have a list for you, Ryan, of folks I need you to send me, by the way. We already have a few in. I think Ron's on that list. And we'll be deploying these folks into the classroom and into the classroom presentations and the job fairs. We are doing it virtual now, but again, when we come back online, that allows me and my staff of 4 to be more effective in reaching the entire state too. And again, they want to hear from you all. They want to hear from the people who are in the industry who have actually had the experience. We also made an intentional move to add labor unions to our foundation board of directors, who oversights the development of this program and all of our workforce programs. So that was important. We wanted to show there was a labor and management joint effort on Build California. And so that's been really successful too, in terms of informing the direction of our materials and our messaging and database and all of those things. And we also have a great industry-wide participation on our Build California Coalition, which are primarily our monetary and in-kind sponsors. Griffith, of course, is on that list as always. So we're always very grateful for participation there. And then we also always feature a trade of the month or a career of the month on our social channels, which have been really, really popular, like I talked about earlier with the Southwest Carpenters. Diversity and inclusion this year, obviously it's been top of mind of industry, and Build California came out of the gate following the death of George Floyd with a very strong stance on racial injustice across our job sites, and that Build California is here to ensure that students know that we're trying to make a difference in the industry and the world at large around these issues. 80% of Gen Z will tell you, like, it is not just a nice to have, but a requirement that their workplace and their industry understands and supports diversity and inclusion efforts. So we need to align there. And so that's also translated over into AGC of California. We are working hard, and Chris Jones and Dr. G are part of this effort, a diversity and inclusion task force that has been designed to really take on diversity and inclusion across the industry and come up with recommendations for our state board on how and what we need to implement for the betterment of the industry. And Ryan, again, most of your folks are plugged in throughout. Ron's on the diversity and inclusion task force. Just thank you for all of the participation that you all have put into Build California and all of our programs.
Yeah, we appreciate being a part of it. Again, Erin, and thank you for all your leadership and effort with the program as well. I think, what better cause to bring the industry together than something like Build California, right? I mean, there's so many different associations and membership groups out there. that a lot of times are kind of going off in their own direction and trying to get things accomplished. But this is just a good example of when we all come together as one united voice and one united effort, then I think we can really get things done. So this is a great, what a better cause than to bring everyone together on the same front. So I think we're seeing the momentum build, and it will be great when we can get back out to the campuses and do the in-person job fairs again. So we have those touch points in person as well. But kudos to you and your team for making the best of it, given the circumstances.
Yeah, it'd be nice to leave our houses again.
I know.
Our AGC chapter, our student chapters, those are our college programs. So once a student decides they want to go to college, we support 13 statewide, and those chapters are really, exist to help us round out their academic experience with practical hands-on experience and exposure to industry through networking and training. So we do that in a lot of ways, job fairs. We sponsor them to go to our conference every year. But bigger than that, it's the industry connection. So I wanted Ryan to talk briefly about his experience and Griffith's experience with our student chapters, and also from his perspective as the LA board chair, how important it has been and what he's seen around incorporating the college students into AGC of California.
Sure. Yeah, so I think engaging the student chapter members is really important. Erin's done a good job over the years. We do have in-person events over the years. We've had our fall conference and other different events, and Erin's done a great job of getting anywhere from 50 to 70 students out to those events. And it's really great for the students to get to meet all the different members of AGC and the different levels within the companies, to really have those in-depth discussions about their career path or about what decisions they're trying to make, and really create those mentorship opportunities for them. Also, locally, it's really important that we are engaged in the different schools throughout California. I do serve on the Industry Advisory Council for Cal Poly Pomona and also for Cal Baptist. My son's actually a civil engineering student at Cal Baptist, so that's a little, I'm a little
nice work.
Yeah. So it's just important to be involved in this. And from a district chair level, even in our local chairs, we support the student chapters. We invite them to our meetings. We have them come give us updates on what they're doing in their schools, really give them a chance to present in front of us and help them work on their leadership skills. And again, just intertwine with them and try to help give them guidance as they're going down their student path until they get into the workforce. So it's the more you can engage that group and have those touch points and those discussions with them, and just the network that you create, you're really going to help give them an avenue to successfully get into the workforce, and then hopefully get them on a good path and give them that knowledge that they may not get otherwise.
I know AIA has a great program with college students as well. We've partnered with you all with ACE Mentor, and our college students and your college students served as camp, counselors in a few of the ACE Mentor camps. So just a great opportunity to get them engaged early in our industry, but also our associations. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Ryan to focus on Griffith's efforts in the workforce development arena as a company working hard to make change there.
Great. So like I said, I want to give kudos to Ron Roberts. I think he's on the call, but or on the meeting. He's been a game changer since he's come to Griffith Company. He's really helped us step up this effort. In the past, before we had a recruiting manager, we had to try to do this ourselves, and we did our best to really put a program together, but it was tough, still doing our day jobs and trying to put together a really good workforce development program within the company. So, I really enjoyed talking to him. He'll come into my office, and we could get caught, for hours if we let ourselves just bouncing ideas off each other. But so since we've really developed our internship program, we do go out to all the major schools that are around our offices, up in the Central Valley and down in Southern California with Cal State Fullerton, Cal Poly Pomona, UCLA, USC, Cal Baptist, just all the schools that are in the Southern and Central market. We also do at times recruit from schools out of state. But we do try to support, again, our local market here first. And at times we like to branch out and get talent from other states as well. But, one of the things that Ron and our team did every year when you probably in the September, October timeframe, we would target many different job fairs around, and I think we probably attended anywhere from 30 to 60 job fairs, depending on what they were. When we first went out, we try to narrow down to what were the best job fairs, what was the best place to put our effort, where were we getting the best candidates from, and then from that, Ron and our team would collect resumes. We'd phone screen them first, and we'd narrow it down to probably the best 35 to 40 candidates that we thought we had found through the job fairs. With that too, when attending the job fairs, we usually sent a team out to them. We sent maybe a young professional in our company. We'd send someone from our HR department as well, and then a senior person. So we'd have that different perspectives we did present at the career fairs, or if we did presentation at the schools. So with that, we narrowed it down to, like I said, 35 to 40. We then brought them into our office for a Griffith career night, or Griffith orientation. Brought them in. We brought our whole management team in, and we did basically like speed interviews. And we probably did 5 or 6 different group of managers, and we had the students rotate between the tables and interview all of the candidates. From there, we would then narrow that down after that interview night and get it down to probably about 15 or 16 interns. That's about what we've been doing each year, and our retention rate's been really good as well. In the past, we probably would only have about 1 to 3 interns stay with us, and I think now it's over 50% that want to stay with Griffin Company and continue to do 2 or 3 internships, and we rotate them into different disciplines, whether it be project engineer, whether it be estimating, or project field engineer. That's a little bit about our internship program, and the great thing about that, if you put a lot of time and effort into that, this is a slide of our 2020 interns, and it is a very targeted approach as well. We really try to get the best of the candidates that we seek out and interview, and we have a very good group of interns. I think every year they get better and better. Our previous interns go back to the different schools that they go to, and they talk about their internship with Griffith Company and their experience. And it's really created a buzz to where I think we're really getting great talent in our company. And not only for our company, but for the industry. Another thing that we do, since we can't hire all 35 to 40 intern candidates that we bring in, we do refer them to other partner companies that don't have an internship program. So we try to help those students get in with other companies that we partner with. And then another initiative that is on the slide here as well, we also have a inaugural cohort, which again, we reach out to freshmen and sophomores and try to give them exposure and try to help them with career development. So we'll set up different meetings and mentorships with them and try to help them set themselves up so they can obtain internships, maybe not with either with our company or with other companies as well. So again, we're trying to help not only from an industry standpoint or a company standpoint, but to give these students the best shot to get off to a good career start. What we found is, if you can get an internship in your freshman or sophomore year, it really helps set you up for junior year and senior year, and then eventually getting hired. We have hired some students in our internship program that didn't get an opportunity till their senior year, and we tried to give them that opportunity to really help them. But if you don't have an internship by the time you graduate, the chances of getting hired or getting into a good company really diminish. So it's really important to basically give people a chance to get that experience. But again, we look at all levels of internships. We hire a mix of freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors as well. Here's basically a breakdown of the different schools that we do hire from, and then also we also do an externship program. So of the interns that we don't hire, that we aren't unable to hire, or that we aren't able to place at a partner company, we will do an externship with them. So we will still engage them. We'll still give them opportunities to work with the company, to mentor with us, and again, to learn from us so we can help them hopefully by the next summer to land their first internship. Here's some other samples of just our other things that we do outside of our internship program. We do participate in the Women in STEM Career Day. Again, we're very heavily involved in Build California, like we talked about. We do support the ACE mentorship program. And we partner with La Habra High School, so we'll send out some of our young project engineers out to do different learning opportunities for the students. We're heavily involved in Camp NAWIC, YOPS, and then we found through, not only through Build California, but just through our company, to really target students at the high school level and get them exposed to what we do. We do have Women in Construction Week coming up very soon, so we just finished planning that within the company. The whole week we plan different events for the women within the company, and we're actually doing a career rodeo, or equipment rodeo for them that week. We're gonna have Kat come out to either our Pier E job site or to our Santa Fe Springs yard and basically show some of the administrative folks in the company or some of our young project engineers what the equipment can do, what it's capable of, and really put that equipment name to what its capabilities are. So that's another thing that we're working on, which we're excited about. And with that, that concludes my portion of the presentation.
Well, Ryan and Erin, thank you for such an inspiring presentation. That was incredible. I learned so much about what your efforts are. We have quite a bit of interaction on the chat, which I'm delighted to involve everybody. If you haven't already asked a question or put your comment in the chat, please do. We'll be calling on you next. And just to kind of warm us up, Erin and Ryan, one of my questions is, a few years ago, there was quite a concern about commodity prices. And now it seems to be the real concern is about access to skilled labor. Do you feel like that's still the case with the construction industry? Is access to skilled labor still one of the sort of prime challenges that you might be experiencing right now?
Do you want to go, Erin? Can't hear you.
Muted on my special.
Okay.
A control mechanism to make sure I don't talk when I'm not supposed to. So I can speak from the AGC perspective, and then of course Ryan is going to have more insight from the company perspective. But we survey our members every year just about workforce and essentially what trends they're seeing or impacts they're seeing. So AGC of California's last survey for 2020 indicated that over 80% of our members are still have workforce development, specifically skilled trades, top of mind in terms of a concern that they're facing in the next year, 12 months. Ryan, I don't know if that's consistent with what you're seeing or not.
Yeah, I mean, before the pandemic hit, the trajectory of the industry was really on an all-time high, especially for us. So we were having to pass on opportunities because we just didn't have enough people to successfully build projects. That's shifted a little bit with the pandemic. Things have slowed down a little bit. The market has subsided a little bit, but that's still an issue. We're constantly looking at our resources and deciding, can we pick up that next job? Can we effectively build it? Do we have the people in place? So that still is an issue, and I think it is going to be an issue for the foreseeable future. But I think by working on our pipeline now and continuing to stay up with it, we'll continue to get people injected into the industry and hopefully keep up with the demand. I mean, we still have, the Olympics coming in 2028. There's still a lot of work to be done. So we need to make sure we have the people in place to build it all in the short amount of time that we have.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially if the federal government passes an infrastructure effort. I do think that access to the skilled labor and also inclusive access is to that regard. I feel like your Build California program is really helpful. I wanted to put Johnny on the call. Johnny had a great question about the connection between millennials, Gen Z, and climate action and some of your initiatives. Johnny, are you able to join us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I guess my question is, being a millennial, and I work for RMI, a climate advocacy organization, and I'm also a Sunrise Movement member. I'm wondering what efforts is AGC and like other general contractors making to kind of highlight the need for California and America to kind of shift towards a build back better model based on the principles of the Green New Deal. Because it seems like with the popularity of the Green New Deal amongst the youth and like giant youth climate marches, it seems like this type of work and infrastructure and kind of highlighting the need to like not rebuild the way things have always been built, but built in a way that we actually can have a livable future may appeal more to them.
Well, I can speak to from the workforce development side and attracting and engaging youth, both, you know, spanning Generation Z and millennials as our young professionals moving up. That is very important. You're right on. That's a huge point of concern for both generations and activation, where they'll get engaged and get involved. So one of the career paths that we highlight through Build California and do so intentionally is sustainability manager. Those folks that are really focusing on the green aspects of construction on a daily basis, and how you engage, what those careers look like, and then the efforts that are being put into place by the industry, whether it be lean construction or green construction, all of those things. And we see that's one of the biggest points of from the management career side, that is the one that students engage with the most or tend to follow or click on our website. So definitely something we are continue to evolving on our end. I'm actually meeting with Green Builders next month to try and broker a partnership on Build California for that reason. Ryan, from a company perspective or dynamic, do you have anything to add in terms of Build Back Better or the Green Deal?
Well, we don't have, with the work that we do a lot of design build work. So we don't have a lot of influence on how the projects are built. I mean, if there's an opportunity to work in more of a green method of construction into our projects, we certainly do try to do that through value engineering proposals on our projects. We have been doing a more design build projects where we try to implement some of that technology into our designs. But yeah, we don't have a lot of influence, but you know, we are advocates of it, and when we are out talking to owners and other industry partners, we do push for more green projects.
Thanks, Ryan and Erin. And Johnny, great question. We look forward to connecting more often with Rocky Mountain Institute. Zara, you have a great question here as well. Are you able to join the call?
Hi, yes. I'm Zaira, and I had a question regarding who your target was.
Sure.
So from the looks of it, you target mostly college students. Sorry, I joined a little late, so I didn't catch everything. So what I understood was high school and college students, correct?
Our target audience for Build California is ages 12 to 24.
Okay.
So we have a span of that. So we're trying to get into middle school as well. My hope for the program as we evolve is we're down in grade school, kindergarten. The younger we can get to them and start to influence them towards our career paths, the better. They're making decisions by the time they get into middle school, right? So definitely more to come from Build.
Okay, perfect. Well, I had a follow-up question also. If a student decides to take a break, you know, after high school and hasn't found a career path that they want to pursue, for example, they probably didn't enroll into a community college or something. Would you also be able to target them? If so, how? I mean, since they're not within any organization or institute.
Well, we invite everybody who is looking for a job in thinks construction could be for them to visit Build California. When they enter their information or send us a message for follow-up, we can help connect them to the right career for them. We can make introductions and connections to pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship programs, direct them to universities and colleges, community or 4-year that focus on construction or any of the ACE careers. So we can definitely help them pathway to that step. We know, I mean, the average tradesperson enters the industry right now at age 28, and we need to lower that. But the reality is, you just heard earlier, our companies need workers now. So we'll gladly take anybody who's in their early 20s and beyond looking to get into the skilled trades, and we'll help them get there.
Excellent question, Zara. Zara, speaking of, you know, you have such a wonderful story. I want to put Mike on the phone. Mike is from LAUSD. Mike, how can you get more involved with Build California?
You know what? I have a Facebook, so I don't think you want to talk to me, Erin.
Me too, Mike. Oh, we're so uncool.
I do the engineering and architecture pathways, but I have a special, most fabulous employee who handles our building and construction trades, and she's right here. Her name is Cassandra Robinson, and you really need
Hi,
to
Cassandra.
connect with her because she does those 11 pathways, and that's the pipeline to your new employees.
And we'll give you free materials and classroom presentations and bring industry to you. So I'd love to connect Cassandra for some opportunities there.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, excellent. So we also have Sierra on the call. Sierra is our next guest in March. Sierra, tell us a little bit about the scholarship you have with ICC.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Yeah, so ICC is International Co-Counsel. I'm the president currently for the Los Angeles Basin chapter. And we have a scholarship. I posted it in the chat as well. So it's for 2 or 4 year students in the construction industry. So if you guys have students, we do have some scholarships available. I posted our website, icclabc.org/scholarships. And yeah, if you could share that widely, that would be great. Deadline's not till the end of March. But I also, with that International Code Council, we work with a lot of building jurisdictions, right? We represent 89 local jurisdictions and associate, construction industry professionals. So another area that's really, it's great to see you guys reaching out to the youths because people just don't know what the building industry is, right? So I've gotten to go to schools and talk to kids and say, you know what the police department do, and they do. They know what the fire department do. Do you know what the building department do? And they say build buildings, and you're like, no, that's not it. So we do get, a lot of that career path, right? We often see contractors end up coming in and being building permit technicians, building inspectors, plan checkers. So it's just great to see you guys involve them from that young age. And I think that really is key. People really don't know the importance of what we do. And, I take so much pride in my work. I really feel like we, benefit our communities. And so it's great. So if you guys have any questions for me ever, I'd love to connect you again with those jurisdictions if that's something that you guys.
Yeah, I'd love that. We always talk about Build California is an industry-wide initiative, right? We have an industry AEC wide issue with attracting and retaining the next generation. So we should all work together, and we'd love any opportunities to partner in that space.
And on our same website, icclabc.org, we posted recently for Building and Safety Month, right? We have that in May.
Yes. Yes.
But so with ICC, they have all kinds of great children's little, like a word search and, little puzzles and things. So when I did take that to classrooms, the kids get so into that, right?
Right.
But just if ever you guys, we could connect on materials or just.
That'd be great. Activities are awesome. And safety, I saw that in the chat too. We definitely address safety through Build California. We have safety manager as one of our career tracks. And actually, Mr. Chris Jones here on the call, he represents safety at ACO Engineered Systems, and he is one of our Build California ambassadors. So we'll make sure that when we deploy to schools, there is a mix of different types of professionals. So Chris, thank you again for always being willing to inspire the next gen coming behind you.
Great. And if I could ever help from a building department perspective, feel free to reach out to me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And yeah, join us on March 19th. Sierra will be presenting her panel as well. Cassandra, do you want to say a few words? Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Michael, for the great introduction. He's amazing. I was just typing that in the chat. We did get a chance to partner with Ron Roberts with Griffith Company. He has been amazing. He's come and talked to our students in our speaker series, in our BCT speaker series, and presented, and was just great. But we really want to see if we can get additional speakers to come in our speaker series to come and talk with our students. We usually have over 100 students that come on, and I put my email in the chat, and so I would love to see if someone could come out and talk to our students. We have some really great students at LAUSD. We have probably about 12, 13 different schools that have the BCT pathway, and so just would love to have you come out and speak and talk to our students directly in the speaker series.
We would love that. So Cassandra, right after I get off my next call, I'll connect you to our Build California manager, Abigail Palermas, and she'll help set up something ASAP.
Thank you.
Yeah, the
Again.
great thing about that as well is, I mean, a lot of our members are working on many of the
So many.
LUSD campuses. So it'd be great to tie that back together to
Mhm.
talk to the students about different projects that we're going to even on LUSD projects. That'd be
And
great.
how you can impact your own communities as part of the construction industry, which is a huge, again, Gen Z issue.
So we had a quick question from Milton that really had a little bit switching topic, but it was about integrated project delivery. Milton, are you on the call?
Yes, Will, thank you. Thank you. I'm Milton here in Orange County, and part of the questions in the ARE, to get the licensed architect in California, they're introducing this new topic of the IPD, and it seems they're kind of shy. They're not very. It's no. I mean, I just wonder if it's gonna become more popular, the integrated project delivery method, or just traditional design build or design build will stay for a while. Do you think it's happening in the US?
Oh yeah, no, we're. I mean, traditionally, our company had primarily done design bid build for many years, and even in the last 10 years, we've done CM at risk. We've done design build projects. We've done CMGC. So it's. I think by 2023, which isn't far away now, they're thinking, almost 50% of the projects will be some form of alternative delivery. So that's the direction the market's heading.
Okay.
Thanks, Milton.
Thank you, Will.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, and Carmen is on the call, and we have an event coming up. Carmen's one of our. Carmen, did you want to share a little bit about the event that we have coming up on March 3rd?
Sure, I can do that. So good morning, everyone. So first of all, I'll say I'm a unicorn. I am an architect, but I have spent most of my career in construction. So I am one of those people who would have loved to see this when I was going through school, and I might have skipped the first 10 years of practice and gone straight to construction. So there you guys have it. Latinos in Architecture, it's a new initiative for AIA through the JEDI Committee. We are focusing on issues specific to the Latino community in Southern California. And our first event will be to look at demographics of Latino influence and Latinos as they go through education and architecture. We hope you guys can join us. We are really trying to get the word out there and carve a space for Latinos to be part of the conversations about diversity and inclusion.
Thanks, Carmen. Chris Jones, I don't know too much about your organization. Do you mind sharing a few minutes about what you do at ACO?
Sure. ACO Engineering Systems is a HVAC company, design and build as well. We have a full construction department, engineering department. Of course, I'm in the safety department. And so ACO's been around for about 90 plus years. And our headquarters is in Pasadena. We have hundreds and hundreds of projects throughout Southern California, Nevada, Washington, but the majority of our work is here in California. And I am the corporate safety director for the Southern region, covering Southern Nevada, down from Bakersfield down to San Diego. And proud, happy member of AGC. I work with Erin a lot, and so we do a lot of great things. And so, yeah, that's me. And that's our company.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to staying in touch. I'll try to reach out and get more involved with what you're working on.
Sure.
Well, so we only have a few minutes left. Erin and Ryan, any final thoughts? We're truly thankful for your time and the generosity of your leadership.
Just thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share. I usually don't make public appearances before 9 a.m. So thank you for bearing with me. The rough start. I'm still drinking my coffee, actually. But any opportunities we have to partner, I think it's so important. So please reach out to me. I put my email in the chat there. And I mean that. We can definitely find ways to amplify both of our career paths through efforts like Build California and others. So we're always open to partnering to amplify those efforts. So thank you for the time, and we appreciate it. And I'll pass it to Ryan for any closing thoughts.
Yeah, I just really appreciate the opportunity to speak to all of you today. Great meeting everyone, great conversation, great questions. Well, I think it's great what your group's doing with trying to cross collaborate with different industry professionals to try to tie everything together. I think, like I said before, this is a major effort, and it's really one of those efforts that really everyone needs to jump in and help with. and get out there and help promote the cause. So I highly encourage all of you to get involved in some capacity, and I'll put my email in the chat as well if anyone has any follow-up questions or things they want to discuss with me after the presentation. But thanks again for the time and for letting us speak with you today.